In 2014, Forbes released their most valuable NBA franchise list, and at the very bottom was the Milwaukee Bucks.
Nobody's going to Milwaukee. I just stayed at home until they traded me. That's how bad it was there.
You really want to be in Milwaukee? Is that where you want to be?
That's the one fucked up part about Milwaukee is they're not going to attract any major free agents.
A franchise that won their first NBA championship in only their third season with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But just 3 years after the championship, Kareem used his expiring contract as leverage to be traded as his lifestyle and the lifestyle in Milwaukee were not compatible. The superstar and best player in the league at the time didn't want to be in the Milwaukee market, and just like that, he was going to Los Angeles in one of the biggest trades in league history. And from that point on, Milwaukee could never get back to where they once were. They had Sidney Moncrief in the 80s, but he wasn't enough to take them to a championship. They had Ray Allen in the 90s and the early 2000s, but they also traded him after it became apparent that he wouldn't re-sign with the team. And after trading Allen, the Bucks would only have one above 500 season over the next 13 years. Being in a small market that is not enticing to the stars and years of missing out on crucial draft picks set this team back completely. But in the 2013 NBA draft, they had another shot at changing that, and they had their eyes on a player that nobody was really familiar with in America.
My name is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
What kind of basketball player are you?
I'm an all-around player. I can jump, I can shoot, I can pass the ball. I can do everything in the court. I started playing basketball 2008, 5 years.
What is your goal for your career?
I want to be NBA player.
Here comes the commissioner with the Bucks pick.
With the 15th pick in the 2013 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Giannis Antetokounmpo from Athens, Greece. He last played for Fil Atletikos in Greece.
Think of this young man, Milwaukee Buck fans, as a McDonald's All-American that needs a development program. We're looking down the road, but a great talent with a great feel for the game. This kid has as much upside as most anybody in this draft. John Hammond and the Bucks have got to have a good development plan for this young man because he's going to need some strength, some development in terms of a player, but they've got a guy for the future. A lot of teams liked him. Who was going to take him first? Milwaukee at 15.
Well, with me, the youngest player in the draft, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
Going to the Milwaukee Bucks. You haven't spent a lot of time in the United States. What's it mean to suddenly know that you're in the NBA?
No, it's a wonderful feeling. I can't describe how excited I feel, you know. It's a dream come true. From Europe to the NBA, from Division 2 of the Europe. Not even in the Division 1 in Europe. Division 2 to the NBA. It's wonderful. Very excited to get drafted at number 15 of the first round, you know. And I would give 100% for the team. And when the coach called me to play, I will give everything in the court.
Early on, the Milwaukee Bucks could tell that they had something special in Giannis. A young kid with all the potential in the world with his physical gifts, but also all the work ethic you could ask for as well. He was a raw prospect, but there was clearly something there. And if this franchise was going to be revived, it would all ride on somebody like Giannis.
You know, I'm 18 years old. Nobody believes in me. Nobody thinks I can make it. I'm going to work extremely hard every single day. I'm going to wake up every day with a goal in my mind.
For his rookie season, it was a possibility that Giannis would go back overseas for a year to develop himself a bit more before taking on the NBA challenge, but Giannis wanted to take that challenge on.
You have your choice now. You can stay in Europe and maybe come to the NBA later or come right away. What are you going to do?
Right away, in the NBA. Straight in the NBA.
Well, congratulations. You made it.
And Giannis was in for the 2013 to 2014 NBA season. After all, he wanted to make sure that he could help out his family back in Greece and get them to America, as every time he got a paycheck, he would send over the majority of it to his family. Giannis said that this was the one point in his life where he actually felt lonely as he didn't have them by his side.
Yeah, I had nothing to do. You know, I was in the gym all day. I was sleeping in the gym. I had nothing to do.
Assistant coach Nick Van Exel said he didn't have anybody. There are times when you just want to go over and just give him a hug and just ask him, are you okay? Not just about basketball, but are you okay? because he really has nobody to talk to. It was a hard rookie season for him where he wasn't just worried about basketball, he was worried about his family 5,000 long miles away living in a country where they didn't even have citizenship. That thought of wanting to get his family out of that bad situation constantly looming. And it would take 8 long months, but in February it all paid off as his parents and 2 younger siblings finally got visas to come to America. Finally, Giannis could enjoy his new life in the NBA with his family, and he couldn't wait to see them and show them everything.
This is my crib. See my family over there, you know, it just give me energy, and I'm really happy, you know, they made it here in America and they be able to see me play. All these guys that are legends because the number retired, like in the team in Greece, you know how my number retired. Maybe in 15 years, 20 years, maybe my number is up there next to Kareem, Oscar Robinson.
For the Milwaukee Bucks, coming into that season, it was clear that Milwaukee was entering a rebuild. They moved on from Brandon Jennings in a trade, receiving Brandon Knight and 22-year-old small forward Chris Middleton. But this was going to be another season moving backwards for the franchise, this time a 15-win season. That was their lowest win total ever for the franchise. The fan interest was at an all-time low that season, with them having the worst fan attendance in the NBA. For the least valuable franchise in basketball, things were only looking worse, and tough decisions would soon have to be made. But there were a few positives in Milwaukee. Giannis showed flashes, making an all-rookie team, although it was a quiet year by the numbers. Not to mention though, Giannis did grow to 6'11" by the end of the year. The 22-year-old Chris Middleton averaged 12 points a game, showing flashes when it came to scoring, and being a 15-win team, this did bring the Milwaukee Bucks a quality draft pick.
With the second pick in the 2014 NBA Draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Jabari Parker from Duke University.
This is what the Bucks needed, a star to revitalize their franchise.
And now they had another young player that could give them hope as a franchise. And as expected, after a 15-win season, they did decide to bring in a new coach, moving on from Larry Drew.
I would like to introduce the new head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, Jason Kidd.
This is a young team, and they have a lot of talented guys, and my job as coach is to bring out the best in them, but also to teach them how to win and how to play at a high level.
And while the Jason Kidd move did come with some controversy, it proved to be the right move at the time. The Bucks went 41-41, making a playoff appearance for the first time in Giannis Antetokounmpo's career, despite an early season ACL injury for the promising rookie Jabari Parker. For Giannis, this was a decent year of improvement. This time, with no concerns off the court, he could fully focus on getting better as a player. He doubled his points per game average, and he was a lot more efficient under the newer play style that Jason Kidd was pushing him toward. Giannis started 71 games this year with his primary position being shooting guard, and he did play point guard a lot of the time. The early playoff experience in just year 2 would also prove to be important. It was a tough series for the young team, but Giannis did show those flashes in game 3 with 25 and 12. At the end of the season, Giannis was asked about his future with the Bucks, with 2 seasons left on his rookie deal, and he said, "The Bucks and John Hammond chose me in the draft, got me in the NBA, kept me in the team with the role for my very first season, and they are my basketball family. From my side, I feel that I want to be playing in the Bucks. I'm not talking about my next contract. The way I feel now, I want to keep playing for Milwaukee for the next 20 years. 2 years in with Milwaukee, and Giannis now considered this team as his basketball family. They truly meant something to him, and he felt that this group was special.
You've been here, it's your second year now. What's in store for the future of the Milwaukee Bucks? What do I have to look forward to if I'm watching you guys?
It'd be a great young group of guys, everybody great is great kids, and everybody's humble. Everybody try to work hard. So be a team, in the future that everybody works hard, try to get better every day, and together, try to build something good.
Before the franchise, even with the season of Milwaukee making the playoffs, they still found themselves bottom 5 in attendance. Not only was interest still low, but the arena itself was also a problem, with the Bradley Center's lease expiring soon. And this is where those tough decisions came into play.
Billionaire Bill Foley is already applying to bring an NHL team here to Las Vegas. But could a pro basketball team be heading this way as well? It could happen if the president of the Milwaukee Bucks, Peter Feigin, gets his way. In a statement just hours ago, he asked for $250 million in public funding from the city of Milwaukee. Otherwise, Feigin says he'll just move the team to Las Vegas or Seattle.
Bucks president Peter Feigin, he put this really bluntly. He says that under no circumstances will the league allow the Bucks to renew their lease at the Bradley Center. For the Bucks, it will either mean a new arena or a new mailing address.
the NBA will enforce the ability to buy back the team at a $25 million premium. And that's it. Our owners no longer own the team, and the team will move to Las Vegas or Seattle.
So the Milwaukee Bucks needed $500 million to build a new arena. Bucks ownership was ready to contribute $150 million. Former Bucks owner Herb Kohl was ready to contribute $100 million, which left $250 million unaccounted for. If the Milwaukee Bucks could not get that $250 million from public funding, the Milwaukee Bucks would be no more. This was potentially the end of the franchise. But look at the direction this franchise was trending in. It was a young team growing together with a new young coach in Jason Kidd. Giannis, Middleton, Parker, Michael Carter-Williams, all four promising young players at this point, 24 years old and under, and they wanted to grow. Why turn back on this project now? Why not give it a chance? And in August of 2015, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker approved the $250 million in public funding for a brand new Milwaukee Bucks arena.
Our big story at 5, signed and sealed. The governor formally commits millions of taxpayer dollars to the Milwaukee Bucks.
And all over this area, you could see the promotional hashtag, Own the Future. The governor says today the state didn't just own the future, it seized it.
The city of Milwaukee and the state of Wisconsin was willing to invest in the Milwaukee Bucks franchise, but there was, of course, those who questioned the investment. What a waste of money on the worst team in the NBA. If things didn't work out and this franchise continued their historical failures ever since the departure of Kareem in the 1970s, this would go down as one of the worst investments ever by the state of Wisconsin. This team just needed some hope. They needed a hero. Hero, a person who is admired or idolized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. A definition that would resonate with a young player like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not because he wanted the glory of what came with being a hero, but because he wanted to deliver for those who took a chance on him and believed in him in the first place. That simply meant everything to Giannis. And entering year 3 of his career, he continued that same hard work to make sure that he didn't let this team down. Giannis knew that he could be the one to deliver for the city of Milwaukee. He had that belief in himself, even when others didn't show that same belief in him. The 2015 to 2016 season would be another year of significant individual improvement for Giannis. This season, Jason Kidd played him at point guard primarily, where he would increase his numbers in all 5 major statistical categories for a consecutive season. For Milwaukee, it was a down year, winning just 33 games, but the jump from Giannis, an 18-point-per-game season from Middleton, and a healthy comeback season for Jabari Parker showed promise for the franchise. And Giannis's improvements as a player were really starting to get recognized. He finished in 3rd for most improved that season, but that was just scratching the surface of what was to come. Because the 2016 to 2017 season would be an even bigger year for Giannis. A massive leap from the year prior propelled Giannis to his first All-Star appearance, his first All-Defensive appearance, and his first All-NBA appearance. He did it all and led the Bucks to a playoff appearance for the first time as the team's best player. It was in this season where he managed to lead his team in all 5 major statistical categories, an unbelievable accomplishment in just year 4 of his career. In the playoffs, Milwaukee fell in 6 to the Raptors, but Giannis established himself as the best player in that series. And of course, the leap of this season won him his first ever award, winning the NBA's Most Improved Player.
You wanna try it?
I'm gonna let you take that one. It's all you.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Back-to-back seasons finishing in top 3 in Most Improved. He's showing rapid growth as a player. And Giannis didn't want to rule out the possibility of winning the award a second time.
You know you won't be Most Improved again because you're an all-star starter, right? You probably won't win that award again.
Why? I might be the MVP this year.
I said Most Improved. The MVP you can win.
Okay, but if I win the MVP, I can be the Most Improved.
I like the way you think.
Okay, so, I don't know.
Years before, when Giannis mentioned the MVP award, he was laughed at. Everyone thought he was joking. But coming into the 17 to 18 season, it was genuinely a possibility at the rate that he was improving as a player, and this time it was actually acknowledged.
I'm not scared to make mistakes no more. I've grown as a person and as a player, and as I said, more confident out there.
Even his new mentor, Kobe Bryant, challenged him to win the award coming into the season. So Giannis, as the man he is, didn't take this lightly. He wanted to accomplish this immediately. But in late September, a month before the season, Giannis would receive the unfortunate news of his father's passing. From this point on, he would always give it all on the court no matter what. He wanted to do that for his father and make him proud. And a month later, he dedicated his new career high of 44 points to him.
Yes, sir, look at that reaction. Got caught behind. John Henson bailed him out. Giannis and one. Giannis, yes. 21 in the first half. Aggressiveness on defense. Yes! Yes! He rolls it down. Giannis. Yes! And one. Giannis up from Allen. A piece of his jersey. No whistle. Take it away. Giannis from Brandon. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Has 44 in the lead at 110. Brandon and Henson. Give me that. Giannis. Beat the Knicks in a way.
Moving forward, I think that motivates me on a daily basis. Just playing, playing hard, playing for my family, and especially playing for my dad because he loved seeing us play. Hopefully, he's seen us from above and he's proud of us. Still proud of us.
For Giannis, it was no longer just about the challenge from Kobe or anyone else. He wanted to win the MVP for his father. He wanted to win the championship for his father. He wanted to be the best player in basketball and make him proud. And he nearly did get his first MVP award that season, averaging 27, 10, and 5 on 53% shooting, putting him 6th in MVP voting. In 5 seasons, we just saw Giannis go from a raw role player averaging only 6 points a game to a borderline all-star, to an all-star, and now an MVP candidate. If the Bucks were more successful as a team, he likely would have been a finalist for the award, but they found themselves as the 7th seed with a tough matchup coming in the playoffs against Boston. Once again, Giannis found himself being the best player in the series with a really strong performance against Boston.
Oh, he caught a body! Okay. Oh, he caught a body!
But it all came down to a Game 7 in which they unfortunately lost the series. A tough loss for the team as they felt that they were the better team in the series. But it was clear that Giannis was now on his way to becoming one of the best in the world. Milwaukee needed to do everything they could to maximize this, and in came major changes. With Jason Kidd out of a coaching job in January of the previous season, former Atlanta Hawks coach Mike Budenholzer was brought in as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. With Giannis becoming such an unstoppable force driving to the basket, Mike Bud brought in a 5-out offensive system that would maximize this and simplify the game for Giannis. But you can't run 5-out without a shooting big man, and in came Brook Lopez from free agency. This would also allow Mike Bud's defensive system of protecting the paint with drop coverage at all costs to work out, placing Brook down low at the rim, with Giannis wreaking havoc as a help defender. The front office under John Hammond gave Giannis a chance and maximized his development. And now, the front office under John Horst, who took over in 2017, was ready to build a contender around the MVP level player that Giannis had grown into. The Bucks believed that they had a championship contender, and they had an MVP level player leading it all with their new arena being opened up for the upcoming season. It was all moving in the right direction.
Now, last summer we talked, and I told you that because you won the most improved, you probably couldn't win that again, and you said something that went viral.
I might be the MVP this year.
I said most improved. MVP you can win.
Okay, but if I win the MVP, I can win the most improved.
What are you going to tell us this summer?
I was chasing it. Like people think I was chasing it till the last moment. But at the end of the day, that's one of the goals that I want to chase. And if it doesn't happen, it didn't happen last year. That doesn't happen this year. It's going to happen because I'm going to keep working hard every day until I get there.
And the Milwaukee Bucks started off this season on fire with their new system. 7 wins in their first 7 games. Giannis continued to have a dominant season, one that was even better than the season before, but this time it came with huge team success. A 60-win season, one in which Giannis truly solidified himself as one of the league's best players. He dropped his career-high 52 points against Philly.
Giannis. Oh, man. He had Simmons on lockdown.
And averaged a career-high in points, rebounds, and assists on incredible efficiency. The 5-out offensive system had truly unlocked Giannis Antetokounmpo, and just over a year after Kobe Bryant challenged him to win the MVP award, he was named a finalist for the award with a chance to bring it home to Milwaukee.
The 2019 Kia NBA Most Valuable Player goes to Giannis Antetokounmpo.
It's going to happen because I'm going to keep working hard every day until I get there. Yeah, I want to thank God for putting me in this amazing position that I am today. First of all, I want to thank my teammates. It takes more than one person to win 16 games. I want to thank the coach staff for teaching us, pushing us. I want to thank the front office, the ownership for believing in me. I want to thank the front office, the ownership for believing in me. And I was 18 years old back in Greece.
You know, they allow me to lead this team. I want to thank my dad. Obviously, you know, my dad is not here with me, but you know, two years ago, you know, I had the goal in my head that I'm going to be the best player in the league, and I'm going to win the MVP. And every day that I step on the floor, I always think about my dad, and that motivates me and it pushes me to, you know, play harder. And I want to thank my amazing brothers. You know, I love you guys, man. And I want to thank my amazing mom, At the end of the day, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. My goal is to win a championship. As my dad told me, you know, always want more, but never be greedy. My goal is to win a championship, and we're going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. Thank you, guys.
Giannis knew that the next objective in his career was winning an NBA championship in Milwaukee, and Kobe Bryant even set that out to be his next challenge. The ending to the 2019 season was bittersweet after taking home the MVP because the Bucks were sent home in the Eastern Conference Finals after falling to the Toronto Raptors in 6 games, a series in which they were 2 overtimes away from taking a 3-0 lead after dominating the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. All they could do was run it back the next year and try to be better, and early on, they were dominant.
Back baseline. Not missing 2 dunks in a row, I promise you that.
Hayward off a spin. Yes! Middleton over Simmons. 3. Book it.
This team for a lot of the season found themselves on a 70-win pace, and looking at the roster on paper, it would never make sense. But Giannis truly was having a season that was that good. Both offensively and defensively, his dominance propelled this team to incredible success by March of 2020, but I'm sure we all remember what came shortly after.
And fans, due to unforeseen circumstances, the game tonight has been postponed. You are all safe. Take your time in leaving the arena tonight and do so in an orderly fashion. Thank you for coming out tonight. We are all safe.
The NBA has decided to suspend game play, but the word that just came out just moments ago is the NBA is going to temporarily suspend the season from now. Who knows what's going to happen going forward.
First reaction and thought when you learn that the season's been suspended. This is crazy. This can't be true. I mean, it's not within the realm of possibilities. It's just, it seemed more like out of a movie than reality.
At this point, nobody knew if the NBA season could be salvaged, but they managed to pull something off: the NBA bubble. But the Bucks never looked like that team that was on that 70-win pace during the bubble. It was no longer clicking, just like they weren't prepared. That same dominant team went 3-5 in their 8 seeding games in the bubble, and they lost to the Magic in Game 1 of their first round. They cleaned things up over the next 4 games, but the Miami Heat series was a disaster. The Bucks lost the first 2 games and lost Game 3 after Giannis tweaked his ankle in the first quarter. He did come out on fire in Game 4 with 18 points in 11 minutes, trying to lead a comeback, but once again, he tweaked that same exact ankle even worse this time around, and just like that, this series was entirely over. A loss in 5 for the Bucks and an even more disappointing playoff finish than the year before. Giannis received another MVP award for his regular season dominance along with the Defensive Player of the Year trophy, but these were not the trophies that he had his eyes set on. Giannis always wanted to be an NBA champion, and with his contract extension pending, the narrative became that he would need to leave Milwaukee to become one.
He has to leave. He has to leave, bro. Nobody's going to Milwaukee.
Because I'm imagining South Beach, and that would be so special.
Hold Get on. It together.
I digress. I get what you're saying about Miami. But let me tell you something, Max Kellerman. Golden State, and they're incapable of getting the requisite pieces, it appears. If he were in LA, even if he were in New York, I don't mean to bring it up like that, but a large market with money, because you have the money, that's different. That is not the case in Milwaukee.
A league where it's become the norm for players to lose patience and leave their team for a better shot at winning a championship. LeBron leaving Cleveland for Miami in 2010. Durant leaving OKC for Golden State in 2016. More recently, James Harden requesting out of Houston so that he can be sent to a strong contender, a league where loyalty to a franchise has become a foreign concept. And the NBA wanted Giannis to follow that same exact path as all these other superstars. They wanted the NBA's back-to-back MVP in a huge market. But Giannis always maintained that he wouldn't leave Milwaukee until they were champions, and he meant that. After they made a trade for Drew Holiday, it was made clear to Giannis that this team was willing to do what it takes to compete, and he ended up making his decision.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is signing the Supermax extension with the Bucks.
I really, as a person, I never cared about money. It's all about winning. I want to win. I want to be a champion one day.
We're going to win the championship.
Many superstar players before had left their teams in the same situation, but Giannis approached things differently. It meant everything for him to do this for the city of Milwaukee. They invested in him, and he meant that he would deliver. The newly structured team would have a rough start at 5-4, but they would pick up momentum, and by late February and March, it was clear that they would be contending for a title with this roster. Giannis delivered another MVP caliber season, but with the voters' fatigue and the media's letdown after they didn't get what they want in Giannis leaving, he would just have to settle for another first-team All-NBA and All-Defensive First Team, locking in that 3 seed for the playoffs. In their way in the first round, the Miami Heat, the same team that just took them down in 5 the year before in the bubble. In Game 5, they found themselves in a dogfight. In the final 10 seconds, Jimmy Butler made one of his only 4 baskets for the game to tie it all up at the end of regulation in 99. And after trading baskets back and forth in OT, it all came down to the final seconds from Chris Middleton.
5 seconds left in overtime. Middleton with 2. Middleton, you bet! He got it with .5 to go.
But from that point onward, the Miami Heat were never close to taking a game on Milwaukee again. They absolutely dominated the next 3 games, with Jimmy Butler averaging only 13 points over that stretch on abysmal shooting. Milwaukee's defense was the difference in this series, and they were certainly needed in the next one. Because the Brooklyn Nets were the next challenge for Milwaukee, a team that hadn't had their best health so far that season, but coming into Game 1, their dynamic big 3 was all ready to go. Less than a minute into the game though, James Harden re-aggravated that same hamstring he had trouble with before, and he would be out indefinitely. Even without Harden though, Brooklyn still took care of business, with Giannis' efficient 34-point performance just not being enough. Game 2 was even more disastrous for Milwaukee, with the game already basically being over by halftime down 24 points, a 39-point loss by the end of the game. With the season on the line down 2-0, the Bucks had to get major contributions from not only their superstar, but somebody else had to step up so that they could save their championship hopes. And that somebody else was Chris Middleton. Middleton and Giannis came out firing on all cylinders, scoring all 30 of Milwaukee's points in the first quarter. And the team dominated on the defensive end as well, making a statement to start the game. But Brooklyn responded with a strong quarter of their own, making it just a 3-point lead by halftime. At this point, we were in for a classic. A third quarter that saw Giannis scoring 10 and Durant scoring 12, a back and forth battle now down to a 2-point lead entering the fourth. And it was a hard-fought, heavy defensive fourth quarter, going into the final minutes under 80 points for both teams where they would start trading clutch buckets. Durant hit a massive shot to take the lead for Brooklyn with only a minute to go. Middleton got 2 back on a goaltended layup, but after missing a go-ahead mid-range jumper, it was all in the Nets' control, up 1 with 30 seconds to go. Brook Lopez forced a crucial miss, Giannis rebounded, and on the other end, it was Drew Holiday converting the layup to go ahead in a must-win game. After 2 more crucial stops by Milwaukee, they just survived this game. Giannis and Middleton combined for 68 of the 86 points scored. But Game 4 would be another must-win, and into the second quarter, it was a really close game, but Kyrie Irving would end up tweaking his ankle after stepping on Giannis' foot in the crowded paint. And now, like James Harden, he was also out indefinitely. The Bucks would take the lead into halftime behind a 16-point half from Giannis, and Giannis wouldn't stop there, putting up another 12 in the third quarter to extend the lead even more. Milwaukee took full control towards the end of the fourth, and they now tied up the series. With Irving's injury in Game 4, Harden was now pushed back into the lineup for Game 5, still dealing with that hamstring injury, and while he did have a decent game, he was clearly affected, having a rough game. Milwaukee had gone up 16 to end the first half, but Kevin Durant went on to have the game of his life.
Kevin Durant takes it to the rim. In the fourth, Durant, yes. Durant using the screen for 3, yes. Good pressure defense by Milwaukee now. Durant fires and hits. With the shot clock running down.
Just like that, down 3-2. Their backs against the wall yet again, and while James Harden performed a lot better in Game 6, the Bucks' big three combined to score 89 points, just as many as the Brooklyn Nets as a team in a 104-89 win. Middleton and Giannis with yet another game, both scoring 30 points each, proving to be a deadly duo. And just like that, we now had the two best words in sports, Game 7, and it was special.
Durant makes it home. Connaughton for three, yes. First time for the Nets. Here's Durant for three as he drills it. Alley-oop pass for Giannis, beautiful. And Giannis starts. Here's Giannis, and he banks it in from Harden on a step-back three, yes. Here's Giannis, able to get inside. This is a beautiful possession. Antetokounmpo with the jumper. One on the shot clock. Harden fires away and scores off glass. That's to Middleton for three. Yes. Durant racing to the bucket and score. And Hayes down to two. Gets it into Durant. Here is Durant moving on Tucker. He turns, he shoots. Yes! With 1 second remaining.
Gathers his feet. The question is, was his toe on the line? And it looks like from that angle, it was on the line.
Giannis with a shot way off and turns, flips it, and it carries in. Middleton spinning and hits. Here's Durant on the drive. The jumper is no good. It's short. Rebound. Antetokounmpo. Guarded by Holiday. Durant for three. Comes up with an air ball. Joe Harris just flips it over to Jeff Green. Now that does it. The Bucks with the 115-111 victory over the Brooklyn Nets.
The Milwaukee Bucks have made it back to the conference finals yet again, and this time standing in their way was a very surprising team in the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young was on a great run, and in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, he would completely shock the Milwaukee Bucks.
Team defending on Young. Young loses him behind the screen from Capella and knocks down a three.
Starting to warm up here, right? Rolling hard to you, and then you find your big man Capella for the finish.
Young becomes Young. Hurdle with a nice Young goes right at Portis and scores. The back and then on the drive is able to score. What a spectacular play by Trae Young. And it's broken up by Bogdanovich with an upset as they defeat the Milwaukee Bucks here in Milwaukee in game number 1 of this best of 7. Trae Young leading the way, 48 points.
But they'd respond in Game 2, running away with the big win to even up the series going into Atlanta. After another great game by Giannis and Middleton in Game 3, combining for 71 points as a duo, they reclaimed home court advantage, taking the 2-1 series lead. A Game 4 win would all but secure this series for Milwaukee, but it was a very rough start, going down 15 at half with just 38 points. Giannis wasn't going down in this one without a fight though, scoring on 4 of his 4 attempts to start the third quarter, wheeling Milwaukee back into this game, but that's when this happened.
And someone's down. And it looks like it's Giannis grabbing that that left knee. Oh, you can see the hyperextension. Yep, the left knee.
With the series now all even with a Hawks victory and the status of Giannis going forward unknown, all hope seemed lost that this was Milwaukee's year. Giannis had a pending MRI, an MRI which practically held the Bucks' future by its hand, and it was an MRI that came back clean. While there was no structural damage to Giannis' knee found, he would still have to recover from this severe knee hyperextension, which would write him off for the remainder of the Eastern Conference Finals and possibly even the NBA Finals if the Bucks got there. For now, all they could do was just play the best they could without Giannis and play for Giannis. The Hawks dealt with injuries of their own though, with Trae Young missing that Game 4 win with an ankle injury, and he would be out for Game 5 as well. In that Game 5, the Bucks played inspired, getting key contributions everywhere: 26 from Middleton, 25 from Holiday, 22 from Portis, and 33 from Brook Lopez. One more victory and they would be finals bound for the first time since the 70s. Trae Young would return for Game 6 with the Hawks season on the line, playing through his ankle injury. And although they fought hard in this one, it was the 23-point third quarter by Chris Middleton that really put this game out of reach. The Bucks were now on their way to the finals, but their main guy that got them all this way was still a question mark. Would he be able to play in the NBA Finals?
The Bucks announced that Giannis Antetokounmpo is available and will start Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
After suffering a gruesome knee hyperextension just 1 week prior, Giannis was going to now play in the NBA Finals. He would be risking everything, playing on a knee that was vulnerable to possibly serious injuries and torn ligaments. But it was a risk that he was willing to take for his team, his fans, and his city. And he delivered one for the ages.
Oh, Booker, nice move, gets inside, layup off the glass. Sweet play from Devin Booker. Antetokounmpo again drives inside and throws it down. Crowder to Bridges up inside, blocked by Antetokounmpo. First finals game in 28 years, and the Suns give their fans a magnificent performance. Antetokounmpo with the strong finish. Booker to Crowder. Connects on a three. Bridges, three-pointer. Antetokounmpo lays it up and in. He is dominating right now. Antetokounmpo knocks down another. Shoots and scores. 34 now for Giannis. Paul for three. Bang! Phoenix Suns are now 2 wins away from their first NBA championship. Middleton drives past Payne. Inside, count it, and one. Back to Antetokounmpo. And the Bucks regain the lead. Antetokounmpo looking to go one-on-one. Oh, drives past Bridges. What a beautiful Euro step. He will not be stopped. Jonathan sees an opening, finds Antetokounmpo for another flush. Giannis Antetokounmpo with another finals gem. And this series is now 2-1. Booker, left-handed. Top shot from Booker. He's got 16. Hits a three and ties the game. Down on the board. Antetokounmpo on the steal. He soars and scores. Hits it out. Connaughton for three. Bang! Pat Connaughton from downtown. With Tucker on him, throws it up for 8. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo. What a block from Giannis. Middleton inside, he banks it home. And that'll do it. The NBA Finals are tied at 2 games apiece. Bridges steps into a three. Antetokounmpo goes inside, goes right at 8, and layup is good. Paul makes his move, gets inside, the running layup is good. It's a 1-point game. Knocked away and stolen by Holiday. Phoenix has to foul, and Antetokounmpo throws it down. And a foul.
The Milwaukee Bucks are one win away from their first title in 50 years as they win on the road to take Game 5. Williams says Mikal Bridges running the floor. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo. The spin move, the finish. Giannis does it again. Goes against Crowder, gets inside. The rebound, back up and in. Leans, pulls up, jump shot, got it. Giannis Antetokounmpo dominating right now. Middleton inside, nice entry pass, and the slam from Antetokounmpo. It's the presence of Giannis. Antetokounmpo off the glass. 47 points, Bucks by 8. Booker on the drive, left-handed shot blocked, Antetokounmpo. Puts up the one-hander, 50 points. And they're starting to celebrate here in Milwaukee. It's over. The Bucks have done it. The long wait has ended. After a half-century, the Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again. The emotions come pouring out. One of the greatest nights in Milwaukee sports history ends in a coronation. And the brilliance of the young man from Athens.
And as I saw the tear dropped, what were you thinking about?
The whole journey, man. In order for me to be in this position, how much my parents sacrificed. I saw that every day. Every day in my life, I saw that.
Giannis Antetokounmpo had done it. He had done it for his family, he had done it for his team, he had done it for his city. Something that he promised long ago was finally delivered upon. The Bucks franchise and the city of Milwaukee made a bet on their future, one that they didn't know would pay off. But Giannis made sure that it did, because they believed in him. They had his back, and now Giannis has their back 1,000 times. The hero of Milwaukee.
When I resigned with the city of Milwaukee, that's the main reason I resigned, because I didn't want to let the people down. You know, there was a job that had to be finished, and we did it. Fucking did it. We did it, man.